Hello and welcome to the Three Wide Men podcast. As you may be able to see behind me, we're at Wembley. Me and Liam are here for the Forest Green Tranmere National League playoff final. We've got press pass, we've got all access. Not all access, we're not playing backstage. Not quite that good, but it's still pretty sweet. And, how are you feeling, Liam?
I haven't really thought about it, obviously, because we've been quite busy.
Yeah.
After the Dagenham game, I thought I was feeling very confident, but as kick-off approaches, I got a bit more a bit nervous. But at the moment, just because it's been a hectic week with university work and dissertation, so luckily, I think that's been better, because otherwise if I'd had a whole week to think about it, I think I would have gone mad. So yeah, just really excited to enjoy a good game of football. I'm sure we'll get into a bit more detail in a minute, but this time last year it was a totally different story. Hopefully.
And if you're a regular listener, you may notice that there's only two wide men again. Johnny is missing. Johnny wasn't here for our last trip either to Selhurst Park, and the actual reason for that is that since Swindon got relegated, he just doesn't go out anymore. He's locked himself away from civilization. No, but in reality, he wasn't able to make it, sadly. Thoughts out to you, Johnny. Sorry, bud. But
instead, he's watching cricket.
Yeah, he's watching cricket and he's formed with two of his friends.
Sussex versus Gloucestershire, which I was tempted to go to.
I mean, huge game, but nothing as big as this. But before we get into the playoffs, because there's plenty to talk about, Chelsea, Premier League champions.
Yeah, congrats.
Very well deserved. Did fantastically, and you know, I don't think I've liked a Chelsea manager more than I've liked Conte, to be honest.
Really? Yeah.
I love Conte. We've spoken before about how we love seeing managers show a bit of passion. I love seeing them on the sideline, and he's got just spades of it.
He takes it to another level.
Yeah, he really is.
Clock.
He's great, and also another likeable person from Chelsea. And you know, there's not always been that many, but Batshuayi, you know, doesn't do much all season. Has some brilliant tweets, just sits on the bench, and then kind of Gertz-esque comes off the bench just at the very end and scores the one goal he needed to get the title. I mean, it's great for him.
Really, it's been a sad season for him, really, because he showed a lot of promise. There's a lot of hype around him, and even though Costa hasn't performed that well this season, I don't think, he was still sort of kept to the fringes.
Yeah, I think Costa's still a vital key sort of thing. It's just just not Batshuayi's time. Like Conte didn't make many changes to his lineup very often. He kept it consistent, and I think that's just where Batshuayi hasn't been given his chance to shine. But I mean, he's got his moment, and that's something you can never take away from him. He's up running it, and another absolutely exceptional player is obviously Kante. And I'm excited to see how Kante is going to get to do in the Champions League. Obviously, he didn't compete in the Champions League this year because he moved to Chelsea. I'm fascinated to see how he does. Because obviously, England teams, we haven't performed at all in Europe for a long time. Not in the Champions League at least. And I think that's one thing, that's one exceptional player that we have in the Premier League that really could make the difference.
Yeah, no, he'll be a huge, you can say it right now, I think. If they go on to do well in that competition next year, he will be a huge influence on that, especially away from home when you need someone with a lot of energy, to be able to get around the pitch and like he does, to cut out attacks so you can make sure you've got a stable base, you don't concede too many goals and then get that crucial away goal. So yeah, he'll be crucial.
I'd love to see as well how he'll cope against the Spanish teams, especially very good passing teams where it's very hard to get possession of, and how he copes with, say, like Barcelona, where he could end up like a headless chicken running around everywhere and never getting near. But then if he's still able to impose himself on the game, then it's huge, and it completely kills anything that Barcelona could try and do.
Exactly. But, but it won't be just him. That, you know, others will have to perform as well. But he will be the sort of man of the match moment that they probably need to do well.
Yeah, and I'm sure there'll be changes in Chelsea as well. Apparently, Conte is going to get £200 million war chest to spend. I read this morning. So changes could, even though he's kept things consistent, could still very much be a lot of changes.
Pick out that he'd pick, or where he needs to improve.
He needs a new centre back, I think. Because Cahill's sometimes a liability, Terry's probably leaving, so I think that's huge. It's tough because they have a very, very good team. Maybe another superstar winger. So I think you've got Hazard, and then all the rest of the wingers in the club are sort of a tier below, a bit lower. So I think maybe, well, I don't think it'll be many signings still. I don't think he'd spend all that 200 million.
It'd be big, but
yeah, definitely. And obviously Chelsea won on Friday night. I'm sure they're partying. I'm hoping they're still partying because Watford have to face Chelsea on Monday rather, tomorrow.
And they'll lift the trophy there, won't they?
They'll lift the trophy there. So I'm hoping that they'll be hungover. But the problem is, I think a hungover Chelsea is still better than Watford at the moment.
Really?
I mean, things really aren't going our way.
I'll take a step back whilst you...
Yeah, I need to... Okay, so Mazzarri is not doing well. I mean, I don't think anyone really expects us to get many points from our last few games. They're really tough, especially now we've got Chelsea and Man City left. We're not going to get anything, and we're not technically safe. If we concede about 12 goals or something like that in 2 games, then we could go down. But we should be alright. We should just about survive. And whether you like Mazzarri or not, a lot of our fans don't. I think the squad's not been up to par this season. Mazzarri's English problems are obviously an issue, but then there was talk of him having intensive English lessons over the summer to improve that. And I'd love to us have some consistency. We've sacked our last 2 managers in our last 2 seasons. We can't just like have someone to grow and develop. What manager does come in and do really well straight away? Okay, you have teams like Swansea and Hull have done really well, but I feel like it's a different scenario where they're on total relegation form. It'd be like, because we're better than relegation before. Not now, but at this season, at points we have been, and we've had injury problems, as I always say. But what I hate, whether you like the manager or not, get behind the team and do not sing songs about former managers who did not succeed either. At our last away game, our fans started singing for last season's manager, Quique Sanchez-Flores. And don't get me wrong, I love the guy. Fantastic bloke, good manager, but it didn't work out at the end. The same as last season, towards the very end, it was poor form. This season's really been very similar to last, to be honest, and not much different. So I guess the argument is, if he gets sacked, then Mazzarri can get sacked. Then maybe, but I don't care. It's not down to the fans who plays. Maybe you like the manager or not. If the owners who have done us so well, and I still fully trust, I mean, they definitely should be held accountable for mistakes, and they are going to get things wrong, without a doubt, and they have got things wrong. But they know better than anyone else what's going on behind the scenes, and I say just trust them and just whatever their judgment is. Because now it seemed, at the time, it seemed like Mazzarri was going to stay. Now it's coming out that it isn't 100% guaranteed that he is staying. I think he's going to go. I think that really shifted the tide. I think you could see a little bit. Our last game, so there was the fans sung the game before our last, and the last game Mazzarri bought a pint for every travelling fan. I think to say sorry because we're not scoring away, we're not performing well, but the fans just haven't connected with him, I guess, and whether it's just because we haven't played good football, because our creative players have all been out, whether it's because he doesn't speak any good English and people haven't connected, I don't know, but either way I'd say get behind the team. But we'll move on. We're at Wembley, and this isn't our first rodeo. We've all been to Wembley before. Your 2nd year running of Forest Green playoff final. How have your Wembley experiences been?
Well, so this time last year it was Grimsby versus Forest Green, and went into it in a bit of a muddle because we sort of scraped past Dover. I think 1-0 over, I think it was 0-0 back at, well, possibly I think, but either way, and we'd sacked our manager, Adi Pennick at the time, just before the playoffs, so it was a very strange thing. We had parking, sort of doing some management, we had some other areas, sort of helping out in the club, and it was sort of just like, it's your first, I think it was our 3rd time at Wembley in total, like generally Wembley, and it was a tough sort of learning experience, I think. And we went out to lose 3-1, but it was a really good experience because I got to see the Keenan Brown score, an absolute screamer. But yeah, I think I've spoken about it before. It was a time when you could see the Grimsby fans covering half of Wembley, and then you had 2 patches of Forest Green fans, and that was the moment whether we were happy about them moving out of Forest Green and keeping it a family club, which I think it will stay a family club, but it will change. it needed to happen because you can't be coming to Wembley and having 4,000, 3,000 fans. I think last year it was 5,000 fans. When I last looked, it was only 4,000 that bought tickets this year, so it might be even smaller. And that's a big issue in terms of sort of public image. It does enhance the little club, feel to it. But I was hoping more people of Gloucestershire would have got sort of together. But I guess
yeah, maybe not. I mean, I've seen a few Forest Green shirts this morning, but you probably haven't noticed, but we're actually in a fan area right now. We're in the Forest Green fan area where there's not really anything. There's a couple benches and we've got one football pool table just behind us, which we might have a go on later, we'll see if we have time. But then there's the Tranmere fan area just down there, just outside the SSE arena, and it's huge. There is a stage, there are break dancers, there's football freestylers, there's table footballs, there's a speed cage, there's music, there's a DJ, there's food stalls, there's a giant Tranmere badge, and I think that just kind of shows the difference in size of club.
Yeah, and it definitely shows an experience where last year it was similar, but someone had brought their own food thingies and it made quite a nice atmosphere, even though there's only a few people. But the whole, I don't know, I'm guessing Wembley sort of maybe allows the situation. I'm sure it's probably the club that makes sure it happens. And to not even have a Forest Green big sign, saying fans are welcome here, I think either just a lack of manpower or a lack of experience or a lack of, because it's definitely not funds, because they've definitely got funds to be able to do that sort of thing. But yeah, Tranmere's is really impressive, and it does show the stature and the history of their club, that they can put on such a sort of a sort of stage, or you'd like to say, for their fans as well as being able to enjoy a match before games, sort of pre-match build-up, and it all adds to the experience, and it all adds to the day. Kids will come and remember this for the rest of their life. Whereas Forest Green fans might enjoy little things, and they probably will have similar memories. But you look at if Forest Green fans go over to Tranmere and they see what's going on over there, it's like either they think, or our club is really too small, or it would be like, I want to see my club get to that point.
That point, yeah. And promotion could obviously be huge for you.
Yeah.
But before we get onto that, still, there's one more thing I want to talk about, and that is your other team, Liam. Now it's Manchester United.
Yeah.
Tough game today against Tottenham, the final game at the original White Hart Lane.
Yeah.
But obviously the big talking point is you reached the Europa League final, great stuff.
Sure.
But you're probably it feels like you're going to be at a disadvantage. And the reason I say that is Ajax finished their season today. In a couple of hours they're going to play their last game of the season, and if Feyenoord drop points and Ajax win, then Ajax will be champions of Holland, and then they've got, I think, 10 days. Yeah, they have a 10-day rest until the Europa League final.
Yeah.
So they could win, in their next 2 games they could win 2 trophies.
Yeah.
And they could, 2 trophies they really couldn't ask for much more. Whereas Manchester United have got a lot of games still. You've still got, I think, you've got 3 games before the final of the Europa League. You're playing, the final's on I think it's a Wednesday, isn't it? Yeah. And you've got a Wednesday game you've got a game next Wednesday as well, and you're playing today, next weekend as well. And you still need to, just in case you don't win Europa League, you need to try and push up the table to see if you can get in top 4. Do you think that's going to play a big part?
If we had, I'm going to start with this first, if we had beaten Arsenal, I would say it would have been a bit of an issue. But because we lost to Arsenal, I think the league's gone. I think 100% focus has to be on the Europa League. It probably already is. Of course, Mourinho probably won't say that, and the players won't say that. But in their head, they're like, all these games are for now is trying to win, of course, but I'm playing well, so I can get into that team that plays in the final. That's pretty much, I think that's all it's going to be. And I think the game against Arsenal was a culmination of all kinds of factors, tiredness and sort of motivation and brilliance of Arsenal. But yeah, I think the next 3 league games, I don't think it will impact it so much, because I think there's going to be a lot of rotation, and yeah, so I think even though Ajax have got this free period, I think it's going to affect Ajax in terms of they're not going to be playing, So that's, you could say yes, it is good, but it means they're waiting more than a week before they have a professional match, which is challenging. So then when they get to the final, it'll be like, oh, here we go. Whereas United are playing Monday, playing Wednesday, playing Monday, so they're already used to playing Wednesdays.
Keep their mind off it, yeah.
So that's good. But obviously, if it goes into extra time or something, then the fitness levels might show. But then Ajax are a young team, and I don't know whether that means they go longer in terms of energy because they're younger, or the inexperience means then they might actually struggle with camp a bit more than experience.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point, because I was going to mention, obviously, Ajax have a very, very young team. They have a 17-year-old centre back. But like, did a bit of maths, which is rare for me. But took both teams' starting lineups from the last Europa League games, and average age of Ajax's first 11 was just 22, just over 22.8 was their average age, whereas Manchester United's was 26. Youngest,
so not too bad.
It wasn't too bad, but I think it was brought down by like
Rashford.
Rashford mainly. Rashford's the youngest at 19. You had Pogba and Lingard who are both 24. Then you've got Valencia who's 31. And Ajax have got Schöne, I think his name is 30 years old. So a little bit of experience, but the majority of those Ajax players are early 20s and below. And 19-year-old as well, I can't remember the name of their striker, Dahlberg, I think is very, very promising young striker as well. But yeah, as you say, the anticipation of having to wait that long when they're so young and inexperienced, that like they might get too excited or too much adrenaline, and that's the last thing you want in the final. I think a huge part in finals, and I'm sure we'll see today and we'll see in the Europa League final as well, is mentality is huge, and it's dealing with the pressure of that occasion that can really turn things around. And Ajax's inexperience could play a big part in that and let you in. Obviously, Pogba might be more rested. He's obviously not playing tonight. It's sad. Champions has passed away, and condolences go out to him. It's very sad, and whether that could play a part in his mental, how he copes with that as a human, will be huge in the next few weeks. So he's definitely doing the right thing, I think, having a break today. But that inexperience, talking of inexperience, Eric Bailly, silly boy.
Yeah, very silly.
And of course, Guidetti, don't get me wrong, Guidetti's gone down easy, and he's obviously made the most of it. But you're at the end of the game, and you just need to see it out. Just keep calm. Don't get caught up in the anger of it. Don't get caught up in the moment. Just don't even go up to him or like laugh it off, walk away. Just don't do anything that could even possibly get you sent off. And I think and now he's going to miss out on the final. Ajax had a player sent off as well, actually, in the last game, their left back. So they're without a defender as well, which may even, I think, Bailly's a very crucial player for you, to be honest.
Yeah, very crucial, but obviously people like Small and Jones, hopefully if they stay fit, they don't get injured before then. They've got tons of experience, they've won trophies, so really, if you're looking at their track record, I know some people don't rate them, but if you look at the track record and the time they've been with United, they should be fairly experienced to deal with that.
And of course, Daley Blind, Dutch himself, so he probably knows how Ajax play and be a bit more savvy to it, and he could be at centre back. But now let's get into the big part, the most important part. We're here at Wembley. We need to talk about the game coming up, the Rovers derby, Forest Green Rovers versus Tranmere Rovers, and there's a lot at stake. There's a lot at stake, and I'm just trying to find a figure. I think it's about £1.5 million the team gets for winning, so huge money. Of course, a place in League 2 at stake, a place in the league, in the Football League, which is trying, and most importantly, a place in FIFA 18. Most of all, this is huge.
Of course.
There's the biggest part, that's all that's really at stake, getting Marsh Brown on FIFA. Because obviously, Forest Green have never been in the league, and they've never played, this is the highest level they've reached so far. Yeah. So would be absolutely huge for them. Tranmere have been at level, and for a long time are at quite a high level. It's mainly like Championship League 1 level. But they have a hell of a history with Wembley. A hell of a love affair with Wembley.
Yeah.
So they have...
Sure.
Yeah, I've been doing some research. I thought I needed to balance things out, because obviously we have our Forest Green expert here. But Tranmere, they have what they like to call the Wembley years, where 3 years in a row, while they were in League 1, they reached the playoff final to the Premier League. All 3 games were played at Wembley. All 3 years they lost. They lost to Swindon in '94. Leicester in 95, no, Swindon 93, sorry, Leicester in 94, and Reading in 95. That's 3 playoff finals in a row they lost, which is heavy, And then they also played at Wembley. This wasn't at Wembley, but they reached a League Cup semi-final in 94, the same year that they lost to Leicester, and they lost in the semi-final to Aston Villa on penalties. But they did play at Wembley and did reach a League Cup final in 2000. But again, they lost to Leicester 2-1, and that was the last League Cup final at Old Wembley. And as far as these were all at Old Wembley, and as far as I'm aware, I don't think Tranmere have been to the new Wembley yet, but not that I could find. So, but they don't win at Wembley. They have a horrible history at Wembley.
I didn't realise it was bad. Yeah.
They just don't win at Wembley, and you know, obviously that's 10-20 years ago, so it is a long time. But sometimes it's definitely something that'll play on factor into. It'll be talked up in the studios and things, of course, and I think it'll be in Tranmere fans' heads as well.
Yeah.
So both teams have suffered playoff losses, which could be huge. But also, Forest Green, interestingly, haven't lost to Tranmere this year. But finished below them in the table, but drew them back in 2-2 back in November. And Tranmere are currently on a 6-game win streak. But before that, their last loss was to Forest Green, which was 1-0.
1-0. Woolery got the winner, like probably last minute of the game.
Now, I don't know if you want to answer this question, but do Forest Green have Tranmere's number?
In the previous few years, I would have said definitely not, no way, no. But in the last, as we've been warming up to the end of the season, we've shown a bit more grit, we've shown a bit more sort of street smarts, and we've got through dodgy moments when usually we probably wouldn't have, we would have probably conceded in those sort of scary moments. So winning, I think the biggest win was that Tranmere 1-0 away, because Tranmere absolutely dominated. It was just attack. We played the sort of classic away game where it was, hold on for as long as possible and then counter. And we got a bit lucky, countered, and managed to get it in the 90th minute. I think they can't play that kind of game today, because it will probably go one way and it will probably end like 4-0 to Tranmere. I think that in the league it's kind of different, but when it's a cup, like quarter to a cup final like it is today, I think it can be quite devastating. If you go goal down, players lose their head, especially because I think we discussed there's only 3 players from last year who experienced Wembley. I know it was Bennett and Marsh Brown, and so I'll have to look for another time about the third. But so it's a completely new squad, completely new players who might not have experienced the same thing. I think Russell has with other teams, but he's the goalkeeper. Back to the point of whether Tranmere have, I would say, more likely than ever, yes.
You think they do?
Yeah.
So I want to also get your take on the club's attitude at the moment, because I find it fascinating. It's very interesting that there's a very relaxed feel about Forest Green at the moment. In interviews with your chairman Dale Vinson, with the squad, it's very calm. It's if we lose again in the playoff final, it's no rush. This is a project. We want to take our time. Obviously before the game against Dagenham, Dagenham were there in the. I missed it, but you saw me. You saw obviously that in the changing rooms, Dagenham players all sat there really serious, really focused, and the Forest Green players are there dancing and having fun, listening to music, and saw that party atmosphere, very relaxed, very playing it off. And I wonder, how do you personally feel about that?
Originally I was like, seriously, because they were just like mucking around. It probably happened in the Dagenham one as well, but obviously we didn't see it. But just from that very striking image, there's a very serious together team and a very sort of broken, relaxed atmosphere. And
okay, we're back. Sorry, camera decided to. Obviously, our cameras crumbled under the pressure. They haven't, but Forest Green, as I say, very relaxed, very happy. So, relaxed atmosphere, good or bad?
Good if we win, but terrible if we don't, because then it looks like the players haven't, been focused, and shows a lack of maybe maturity. But clearly you should be focused. There should be a clear structure to the week, and there should be But overall, I quite enjoy it, because it then sort of puts the because the players know the pressure, so they may as well have fun whilst they're under that pressure. And I'm sure Dagenham were having fun at the time, but I just think the whole tactics thing as well, when they put the Dagenham's what's the Brian Loney's comments about them in the
the player who said that they were going to crumble under the pressure, and they absolutely didn't.
Something Maguire his name is, isn't it?
Oh yeah, I can't remember his name.
And it just showed a little bit of street smarts, sort of just unrest them a little bit, and just put that out there, even though it probably didn't do a lot. And so I would be critical of it, but at the same time, it's quite nice to see.
Yeah, I think it's good. I think they should enjoy it, and I think when you enjoy your football, you tend to play your best football. And I think just trying to downplay that and just keep a good atmosphere, good morale with the team, I think that's exactly what you want in going to final. Like, absolutely, I'm sure they are serious. I don't question that for a second. I'm sure they are taking it very seriously. But to downplay it and relax, it's really good. And let's go on to Forest Green's manager, because Mark Cooper also has some playoff experience, which I've got here. He actually, interestingly, was given a short-term deal at Notts County. Because I didn't know about this until I looked it up. Until the end of the season, and if he got to a certain points margin, he'd be handed a permanent contract. He kept them up, he reached that points tally, they offered him the contract, but he said, no thank you, I'm going to Forest Green. He dropped down the league and chose Forest Green, which I think was fascinating. And he's had mixed experiences at Wembley. He won the 2011 FA Trophy at Wembley with Darlington, beating Mansfield 1-0. But then he took Swindon to the playoffs finals 2 years ago, which we obviously watched, and he kept a very keen eye on, with Johnny obviously being part of our friend group. And I mean, they did fantastically. Won 7-6 in aggregate after a 5-all thriller against Sheffield United in the semis. Got to the final and completely crumbled and just completely fell apart. And sorry Johnny, but there's no better word for it than just decimated by Preston. They lost 4-0. And I think it's a worry for me today is that Forest Green, he needs to keep. He can't let that happen. You can't fall, because you obviously, like that Swindon team, you're not the most solid at the back. No. Let's be honest. And Tranmere, a very, very dangerous team, probably favourites today. Even if you go a goal down early, you cannot crumble like that. You have to just stay strong and fight back and just turn up. Really, I think that's the biggest thing, is just turning up. But do you reckon he would have learned from that?
I'd like to think so, but it was quite interesting. He had an interview with the Strouders Journal this week, and he said that these kind of games, it's all about the players, and all I can do is let them do our focus in the week, and then it's up to them in the final. Which is interesting, because most people would maybe agree with that, but I think obviously managers have as much influence on a game as the players, because whether it's motivational speeches, whether it's tactical changes, whether it's taking a risk when needed, rather than sticking to the same old routine and certain substitutions at certain times. So I'm not 100% sure I agree with that, but I feel like, and he didn't really, when he was asked the question whether he'd learned this, he didn't really answer it. I think he would have, and I think he definitely give the players the confidence they need to win this game, because now we have the results behind us and a momentum, which definitely will help him and the team to do so.
Well, we can talk here all day about ifs and buts, but it's all down to the pitch. So we're going to get amongst it. We'll talk to you in a sec. How much does promotion mean to you guys, for your club, and to you?
Me?
Yeah.
Well, we've got a new stadium being built outside of Forest Green, near the motorway. It's Eco Village, where there's sports centres and everything, which solves the parking problem, but now don't get many more people in anyway. This is all part of the plan of us going out. If it works, great.
Yeah, because and for Tranmere,
when they were relegated 2 seasons ago, it's such a downer for everybody. So it will be a big boost to the community as well as the club.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's and last season they didn't do so well in this league. they've come good now, so yeah, it'd be good for him.
Yeah, and obviously you two met today. So do you think there will be a friendly atmosphere in the
I think so. I mean, there's always banter, isn't it? But
yeah.
Generally it's.
Yeah.
At this level of football, I don't mean that derogatory, but
No.
you know, if it was a cup final, it'd be a bit different, wouldn't it? But I think these lower league games are a bit more friendly atmosphere, aren't they? So
Yeah, so everyone could just enjoy and have a good time. Great, well best of luck to both of you and thank you for this. Talking about coming here, how have you found the obviously the vegan style here and adapting to like having a vegan lifestyle? How do you think that's maybe improved your fitness or helped at all?
You can eat what you want off the pitch, but just around the training ground and before games it's vegan, so it doesn't really taste any different, so I don't mind eating it.
Okay. And do you think, obviously you said about the coaches and how you play nice football, do you think that definitely complements you and your play style and helps you?
Yeah, of course, because we play football to create gaps, and when we start playing around at the back, the whole team pushes up, so it gives me more chance to run it behind and use my pace.
Cool. Great, thank you.
Much of the focus has been on the likes of Noble, Doige, Marsh Brown. Would you say today's sort of your introduction is a big name player?
I was saving it. No, I'd like to think so. I'm 22 now and I need to start playing regular football, so hopefully I can take some confidence from this into next season. And for sure from there.
Okay, 2 more then, please.
Why do you think that is? Because watching you today, somebody who hasn't seen you before would think, well, there's a great player here. You know, why do you think you've not played regular football up to now?
I think I'm not everyone's taste. I'm different to everyone, I think, because I like to run in behind. But obviously I knew Scotty from before and he's brought me in, and him and the gaffer have had faith in me and they've played me, and I've had a run of games. So I've got a chance to practice what I'm good at, and I think it showed today.
Have you ever felt this confident before on a football pitch?
No, not today, no. Especially in England's home stadium. Everyone dreams to play and score as well and get promoted. It was one of the best feelings and can take a lot from it.
So to start things off, the club seemed very relaxed for the weeks leading up to the playoffs.
Yeah.
With dancing in the changing rooms before Dagenham, and also the chairman said there was no pressure that eventually you would get promoted. Was that the case, and do you think that helped today?
Well, I think behind the scenes we're pretty on it, to be honest. We've got a lot of characters in our team, so if they want to have a dance, they can have a dance. But 100% we wanted to get promoted this year, and that was our goal, and I'm just so happy that we done that.
Can you describe us your goal, and did you feel you had a chance because you were against McNulty, who's obviously 33 years old, or did you not notice at the time?
McNulty's a really good player, and I don't think he gets enough credit for how good he is. He's played a long time and he's had a hell of a career. But no, not at all. I had so much space out wide. I just thought as soon as I was going to be in a one-on-one situation, I was going to try and get a shot off as soon as I can, and I don't think many keepers would have saved that, so I'm delighted.
Of course, you had a brilliant goal tally this year, 28 goals. Now you're going into League Two. Do you think you can continue that, and what do you think the biggest challenge of League Two will be?
No, I'd like to hope so. I top scored at Dagenham last year, and we didn't create a lot of chances. So played with Forest Green this year, and they've created a lot of chances for me. So that's shown why my goal tally's been quite high. But we'll have to wait and see. If I get the opportunity to score, I like to think I'll put them away. So hopefully.
And how do you plan to spend the summer?
I'm going to holiday with my girlfriend next couple of days, have a little bit of a trip away, and then I'm going to go straight back into it. I want to be even bigger and stronger next season, and just see where that takes me.